A while ago, I was scrolling through TikTok and I came across a video. Now, this video portrayed guys in a factory. They were manufacturing a machine. Now, this machine was not really the one you might think of, because I first saw something like a cast and some molten liquid being poured into that cast, and then this stuff is being shaped and then crafted, and it looked very vividly human. Actually it was a humanoid robot, but not the humanoid robot that you might imagine or that you might think of. It was a sex robot, particularly a female sex robot. And surprisingly, in the comment section, I saw so many men requesting for how they can place an order for these sex robots that they saw being displayed in this video. And for me, it was a little bit alarming, because I saw sex robot and sex dolls in general as something a little bit controversial that our society is not really open to. And seeing so many comments on a TikTok video about how they can place an order, how they can get one of those, was just a mind blower. Now, mind you, that was not the first time I knew about sex robots' existence. I first knew about their existence, I think, back in 2017, when I had a desktop computer and a new smartphone as well. So I was just doing research about robotics, and I came to know of a robot in Japan, which is known as Harmony robot. So Harmony robot is specifically a sex robot that looks very human, and is also called a companion robot, I think, to assist aging population in Japan. Japan has a very high population of centenarians or octogenarians or octogenarians, whatever, people above 80 and 100 years old. But before we go into that, let us look deeply into this whole thing. Actually, sex robots are somewhat kind of descendants of sex dolls, and the earliest sex doll will be said to have originated, at least from all written records, in the 16th century, when sailors were away from civilization, had to make sex dolls from wood, leather, and rags. As crazy as it may sound, they made a doll from these materials and they had sex with it. Now, started from the year 2010 in the United States of America, the first sex robot that was commercially available was made in the USA by Douglas Hines from the company True Companion. After that phase, we saw a rise in the interest of sex robots, particularly from Japan and China. Japan had a lot of innovation in robotics, and China, being a large manufacturer, an industrial economy, they took over from Japan. That was mostly innovators. Japan innovated, China commercialized. They made it in large quantity, and they tapped into the market economy of USA, North America, Canada, and Europe, where there was a high demand of sex robots. Like I said in the beginning of this video, when I saw this video on TikTok about sex robots, there were lots of comments, and the majority of those comments came from Gen Z men, guys who are from this current generation, before the Gen Alpha. So Gen Z is from, I think, 1995 till 2010. However, most Gen Z men are between the age of 28, 27, down to, let me say, 19. That's the average age to be considered a man. You see, this comment doesn't just look at the statistics alone. When I saw this comments of these guys on this TikTok video, I saw a disturbing underlying trend. You see, most Gen Z men have lost interest in marriage compared to previous generations, unlike the hippies of the 70s, Our generation, the Gen Z generation, has been affected by a number of factors, particularly by what we see and what we hear. And this has shaped our perception of the institution of marriage, which has been seen as beautiful by previous generations, but in our own time, we see it more as problematic. Now, I'll be listing some of those things. I'll be categorizing them into two major factors. Number one is the push factor, and number two is the pull factor. So the push factors are factors that forced men to lose interest in marriage and have more interest in sex robots. And the pull factors are things that enticed men into engaging with these sex robots. But one of the push factor is the fear of emotional intimacy. We live in an era where there is a high rate of depression among people. There are many factors that cause this depression. Society has become more individualistic. We have less connection with people. This has led to a case where people are lonely despite being very social on social media. It's also created a loophole where people do not grow up around traditional societies where they learn traditional means of social interaction, and you might not be able to handle certain things as compared to people of previous generations. So some things that are meant to be intimate or meant to be personal, meant to be private, are being posted publicly on social media. And it has created a kind of insecurity where people are insecure about their emotional feelings and how they should relate to other people. But with a sex robot, you don't have that problem, because except if the robot is a spy robot, the robot would not snitch on you, gossip you, or play with your feelings, emotional blackmailing and all that stuff. So this is one of the reasons why most Gen Z men have lost interest in traditional marital institution and are tilting towards sex robots. Number two, here we have negative examples on social media. When you go on social media, you see many negative examples, and this one is even very obvious and apparent with or without my outlining of these obvious facts. So a perfect example is celebrities. Celebrities have a high rate of divorce, and celebrities are social media people. They post everything about their life on social media, and when people see these things, they see this celebrity as role models for their life. So an average Gen Z would want to dress like a celebrity, walk like a celebrity, talk like a celebrity, eat like a celebrity, and even love like a celebrity. So when celebrity goes about having failed relationships or posting their divorce online, and people see the emotional turmoil that comes with this divorce, they would take a step back and be like, no, I can be like this celebrity in every other thing, but I don't want to experience the same pain as this celebrity. So they would conclude that marriage is not for them, and they will have two options. Either they go on free sexual personality, that is, they just have sex with anybody, they love you for a short period of time. Once they have sex with you, they lose interest in you, or they might opt for sex robots. Number three, here we have harsh divorce laws and high divorce rates. Now, another previous example I gave, that is the negative examples on social media. Not all negative examples on social media are necessarily about divorce. So for example, I'll give one example from Nigeria. There's a case of a lady, back in 2020, she got married to a Nigerian millionaire or billionaire, Mr. Ned Nwoko. Her name was Regina Daniels. At the time, she was just 19. And this guy was above, I think, 50 or 60. And gets the exact age, because sometimes Nigerians can fake their age. Especially the elderly Nigerians, they love faking their age. So regardless of that, she got married to this guy. And there were rumors that she married him because of his wealth. But regardless of that, down to 2025, we are seeing rumors and news of abuse in this marriage, in this relationship. This young lady, Regina Daniels, claims that her husband emotionally abuses her, physically abuses her, sexually abuses her, and that she is now a drug user, an alcoholic, because of all this, this emotional and physical turmoil that she goes through. And some people will see these things and also lose interest in marriage. No, not all negative examples, like I said, are necessarily about divorce. Some of them are just about abuse, or let me say infidelity. Another example as well. Now back to this one, harsh divorce laws and high divorce rates, particularly in the Western countries where there are some divorce laws that require a man to give off almost half his wealth or over half his wealth to his partner when he divorces, and still go on paying alimony. I've seen many comments, especially from Gen Z men. They claim, oh, the system favors only women and not men. And so when a man divorces, even if he suffers emotional abuse or neglect, any other form of suffering that a man can suffer in marriage, even if it's physical abuse, that he as a man has to endure it, because when he decides to divorce, he will be ripped apart because the system favors only the women. He'll have to give off almost half his property and still have to go on paying alimony, child support, and all that stuff. So when young men look at this, they will just conclude, okay, instead of me to get married, I'll just have a common law union, common law husband, common law wife. But this mostly comes from the men, because the men have seen that these laws do not favor them, particularly in Western nations. But in Nigeria, we don't have this kind of law. So many young men are still getting married when it comes to this particular law about divorce. Some Nigerian men don't even have a court wedding. So when they divorce, they don't really need to give off all of their wealth. But depending on what the court says, they might need to pay child support and all of that. So, but regardless of that, I've seen many write-ups, articles, and all of that of men in Western societies. They are suffering in their marriage, their wives are cheating on them, but they don't want to divorce, not because they are enjoying the marriage, but because they are afraid of the financial impact of the marriage on their life. So when men, young men, particularly Gen Zs, look at these laws and they see that these laws are not favoring them, these laws are built against their gender, they will just conclude, I don't need to get married, because if I get married and maybe the marriage doesn't work out and I divorce, I would have to suffer all this. Next one we have here is toxic feminism and misandry. Believe it or not, there are different kinds of feminism. There are the minimalist or average feminists, and there are the extremists who see everything that is male as evil. But in reality, we're meant to live in a symbiotic planet, a symbiotic world, not one that is built for one gender alone. It's not a man's world, neither is it a woman's world. I consider myself a feminist, but there are some aspects of modern feminism that are very, very radical and unnecessarily draconian and obnoxious. Like I said, some of those modern feminists see everything that is male as evil and everything that is female as divine and benevolent. But that's not always the case. Men need women and women need men. If that was the case, even if you believe in creation or evolution, we would not have men and women. I believe in social role as a sociologist and anthropologist. Men has a role to play in society, and so does the women. In a family where there's no man or where there's no woman, there will be that lacuna, the absence of one particular gender. The family can become dysfunctional, and the family could be ripped apart if care is not taken. And as a criminologist, that's one of the major factors to crime. When there are broken families or single parenthood, it can contribute to crime. To give one example, many black neighborhoods in the USA are single parented, and only one partner can look after a child. You have to work, you have to take a child to school, cook, sleep, wake up. And there will be some times that you can be with your child, and your child would associate with the wrong people, and this can lead them into criminality. Now, the focus of this video is not about criminality or criminology, it's about sexuality or sexology. So, back to the topic. This toxic feminism and misandry has made it seem as if men are evil and should be avoided. And this also, created a kind of lacuna in the life of men when the women around them are largely becoming misandrists. They hate men, they hate everything that has to do with men. So what do the men have to do? Go to a sex robot. The sex robot does not hate men. It's just a robot. And then its only role it plays is just to have sex. And so many Gen Z men see sex robots as a better option to women who are toxic feminists and misandrists. Not all women are, but many are becoming. Now, another factor is paternal discrepancy. Paternal discrepancy is when a partner, usually female, the woman, lies or hides the true paternity of a child. This has a very high rate in Nigeria, in Jamaica, in the US, maybe Europe, and I think it has a lower rate in India and some Asian countries. Now, even in Nigeria, many young men have lost interest in marriage simply based on the problem of paternal discrepancy, because they feel women cannot be trusted, women are cheats, women commit a lot of adultery, even when in their husband home, and they would hide it. So this has created a mistrust for the feminine gender. Now, in Nigeria's case, we don't have high rates of sex robots, but if this was the case, or if this is the case, and in fact this is the case in most other Western countries of the world, Australia and the USA to be specific, there's a high rate of, lack of trust in the institution of marriage. Most men no longer see a need to get married if their spouse is going to cheat on them and hide the true paternity of their child. However, with the advancements in DNA testing, we can be rest assured that this will be less of a problem in the near future. Another factor is economic hardship and elaborate cultural practices, particularly weddings. When you look at some cultures, particularly cultures of Africa and Asia, you'll see that the marriages are very, very elaborate. You spend a lot of money. And in a case where there's high rate of unemployment, coupled with other factors that I've mentioned previously, that has led most Gen Zs to lose interest in marriage, you find that many of them will see sex robots as a less expensive alternative. I'll give an example. In some cultures in Nigeria, not some cultures, most cultures of Nigeria, you have to pay a bride price. So Nigerians use the word dowry, but dowry is the gifts or the money paid from the woman family to the man's family. For most cultures in Nigeria, the man pays to the woman's family. Now, example is the Hausa culture of northern Nigeria. The Hausa culture, gold is heavily emphasized. In the traditional marriage of the Hausa people, it is customary to offer gold to your wife and possibly offer other items, particularly cattle, to her family as well. At least 2 cattle from the man. And in Nigeria currently, cattle are very expensive. Except you are wealthy, then it will be nothing for you. But in a case where these cattle are above your budget, and even the gold is also above your budget, for example, a single gram of gold, the lowest you get is for the barest minimum is 150,000. But even get it for 200,000 naira. So imagine where you have to buy more than 1 gram, maybe 5, 10, 20 grams. You're spending millions of naira for your wedding alone. So, but this is not the case in Western countries. You don't have these elaborate traditional marriages. But in Western countries, they also have the issues of economic hardship. And when the economy is hard, it affects everyone. So this has also created a kind of drift away from traditional views on marriage. The fear of commitment and the quest for an adventure and carefree life. Now, most young men nowadays are afraid of commitment, but one of the things that many single men of nowadays say is a reason for being single or unmarried is because of commitments. Maybe they are focused on some other goals, maybe education, maybe their career, but whichever the case, this has also created a kind of diversion from traditional views of marriage. Unlike in the past, when a young man finishes university, he gets a job, and within 2 years is married, maybe at the age of 25 or 30. Nowadays, many youths are in their 40s and not getting married. Although Gen Zs are not yet in their 40s, they are still in their 20s and teens. But regardless of that, there is a possibility that if these factors do not turn for the better, we would have men in their middle ages who are still single and not even searching. Now, finally, we also have the issue of mental health. Mental health is also becoming very, very important in our modern society. I've mentioned various factors in the past that has contributed to a lack of interest in marriage. And some of these things, or most of them, still boils down to our mental health. So cases of abuse, of maternity discrepancy, and whatsoever, they have an impact on the mind of the individual. So some people, particularly men, see a need to protect their mental health, and for that fact, they feel marriage would not grant them that peace of mind that they require for life, and then they might just decide not to get married. Now, I'll be going into the pull factor, as is factors that entice young men into, engaging in these sex robots and losing interest in women. But one is desire for control. Desire for control and customization, not just, when I say control, I do not mean like a narcissist. Control in the sense of, let me say, acceptance. Sometimes young men approach a woman and either he's lacking in one way or the other. Maybe it could be that he's not well educated, or he's unemployed, or his words are not well put in order, or he's not well dressed, or he's not wearing flashy gadgets and all of that. He might face some kind of rejection. And this fear of rejection is one of the things that drive young men into losing interest in marriages and finding favor in sex robots. So, young men also, particularly of our generation, one of the advantages that they get from these sex robots is that they have the right or the opportunity to choose the looks of the robots, the personality, the hair texture, the skin, and all of that. And this is just like walking into a market to pick something of a variety, customized, specifically tailored to your needs. And this is something that they will not find in the woman, except they are going to visit each country and searching for what they admire. But with a sex robot, they can easily state their needs, and the factory crafts the sex robots according to the needs of the customer. Another issue also is that they also have control over their relationship with their sex robots. So traditional, conventional relationship with a woman is often, plagued with unpredictability and vulnerability. You could break up with your partner at any time when having a traditional relationship with a woman. But when you're having something like that with a robot, you won't break up with a robot except your robot breaks down. So your robot can break down but will not break up with you. So that's one of also the reasons why many men decide to choose a robot over a woman, because it doesn't have those characteristics. You can't fight with your robot, but you can fight with a human. The robot won't cheat on you, but a human can cheat on you. The robot won't lie against you, but a human could lie against you. Another factor is social and emotional isolation. So, although this one sounds more like a push factor, but the truth is, nowadays we have so-called social media, but humans and adults of nowadays are interacting less, even though with the social media, because social media has made us more isolated. It's kind of like an irony because it's called social media. It's meant to make you socialize, but you could be on your phone the whole day and you won't go out. And in a normal functional society, how are you meant to have a functional relationship when you don't go out, maybe for shopping or to a seminar or for a job? And it's even worse nowadays that we have remote workers working from home with your laptop. So you could just be at home, you work on your laptop, order food online. Even if you are religious, you could just stream the church service on your laptop or your tablet, and you won't need to move an inch, just in your house for days and even weeks. Everything's at your fingertips. Now, assuming this was a pandemic, we won't have a problem with this. But now we are back to a normal functional society, and we are meant to socialize with each other. And this lacuna that has been created due to the presence of social media has driven men, or has made men, more timid and unexperienced or inexperienced when it comes to conventional relationships with women. So an average Gen Z nowadays doesn't really know how to handle a woman, take care of a woman, or engage in a relationship or civic conversation with her without being offensive, without feeling weirded out. So you might see a sex robot as a better alternative to his antisocial behavior that has been brought into his life due to too much dependence on social media apps. Now, social media apps play its own role. We also have the issue of technological advancement. Now, in the past, the sex robots of those days were not as advanced as the sex robots of today. Sex robots of today are now made to look more realistic. Even the hairs are painstakingly implanted strand by strand to look exactly like how a human's hair would look like. So if you want a blondie, a ginger head, a red head, black head, afro hair, you could get it tailored to exactly how you need it. And this is kind of, is so-called technological advancement, but it's also alarming because where exactly are we going to as humans? It's nice for us to have technological advancement, but some kind of technology are more of a bane to our society. And it's even exacerbated by the introduction of AI, artificial intelligence. One of these, I've forgotten his name, but it's one of the scientists that works in the AI sector. He said AI was released to the public too early, and it's going to create a lot of problems. We already have many problems in the educational sector, the health sector, and all of that. But one of the things we're also saying is that this AI is now being used in this sex robots. So previously, maybe your AI is just restricted to your computer or your phones. But when you include this software into the humanoid robots, the robot can engage in conversations with you like a normal human being. It can observe your patterns of behavior and learn more about you and tailor itself according to your needs, according to your behavior, according to your wants and your desires. So while it might make this robot look more realistic, more maybe human-like, more enticing, it's also creating a problem. Are we creating a world where humans are rapidly being replaced by robots? If this were in the industrial sector, I might have no issue with that because industries are quite dangerous and deadly. So replacing humans in that sector with robots might be more of an advantage. But in a case where human intimate relationships are now being replaced by robots, then we'll need to sit back and ask ourselves a question. What has gone wrong with humanity?